Happy Eid celebration to our Muslim brothers and sisters, and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. We're reaching you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. I am Ronke Kolawole. As Muslim faithful mark Eid Kabir, President Muhammadu Buhari has observed the Anna rite with his kith and kin in Daura, Katsina State, and also appreciated Nigerians for their goodwill and promised not to relent in transforming the nation for posterity. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that thousands of people lined up the streets of the ancient town to catch the glimpse of the president, who was last seen in the area about a year ago.
Celebrating the Feast of Sacrifice with his family, friends and acquaintances in the ancient town of Daura is a practice President Muhammadu Buhari maintained for a very long time. And the people never fail to appreciate, as demonstrated here when the Nigerian leader joins them at Kofar Arewa Eid ground for the 2 Rak'at congregational prayer. The chief imam of Daura Emirate, Malam Salisu Rabiu, led the worshippers in the fervent prayer of thanksgiving to Allah for his protection, guidance and blessings in their lives and that of the nation. Allahu Akbar. Allahumma rabbana wa lakal hamdu. The Imam in a khutbah shortly after admonished the congregation to remain prayerful, as nothing is more pleasing to Allah than the prayer of his servant. All adversities of life, he said, can be prevented through prayers, hence the need for the Ummah to commit themselves in such an act of ibadat for a worthy living as well as eternal salvation. Muslims, he also emphasized, must not relent in assisting those in need and making sacrifices for peace, national unity, stability and development. The Emir of Daura, Farooq Umar Farooq, used the opportunity to thank Allah for keeping the nation's hope alive by preserving President Muhammadu Buhari to change Nigeria for the better, and prayed that he be protected at all times and guided aright. He reassured the president of continued support, cooperation and understanding of his people as he strives to make Nigeria better for posterity. Speaking to NTA News after the prayers, President Muhammadu Buhari once again appreciated the enormous prayers, support and goodwill of Nigerians.
I'm very pleased to see the mood of Nigerians from here, I believe, up to Lagos and so on. If this is the group for Daura alone, I try to imagine for the whole country. I'm very pleased about that.
While promising to remain resolute in selfless service to the nation and humanity, the president said his administration will remain focused in the task of securing Nigeria, safeguarding public assets, as well as achieving economic well-being and prosperity. From Daura in Katsina State, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the need for peace, unity and tolerance among religious followers is the central message of the sermon delivered at the Abuja National Eid ground to mark the Eid Kabir. Imam Muhammad Kabir Adamu also called on the federal government and Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, to reach a truce on the current impasse, as education is the basic foundation for peace and development. Abdullahi Garba Kudu has that report.
Residents of Abuja defied the early morning rains to observe the Eid prayer in a peaceful and friendly environment. Imam Muhammad Kabir Adam led the 2 Rakat prayers. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. The sermon centered on religious tolerance, total submission to Allah and good neighborliness.
and we shall use this period of sacrifice to the betterment of our country. We have to run away from all tribalism, sectionalism, whatever, to embrace the oneness of Nigeria. And at the same time, we call on the federal government and also to please find solution to end the present strike.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Muhammad Musa Bello, was among the worshippers.
The sermon today by the Imam is a sermon of peace and unity. And I think the Eid itself is what symbolizes that, because it symbolizes the sacrifice of our father, Prophet Abraham.
Other worshippers also speak.
We pray, for the state. We pray for our leaders. We are happy that, President Buhari has returned to bring peace, to continue the good work that he's doing.
We should pray for the peace of the land, pray for our president's health, pray for progress in this land.
I'm advising all Muslim community to stop the preach of hatred. Religious hatred has brought calamity to this nation.
The big lesson about this period is that Muslims are going to share this meat in the spirit of togetherness, in the spirit of love to one another, in the spirit of being our brother's keeper. Abdullahi Garba, NTA.
Pilgrims in Saudi Arabia were also not left out as they continue with their hard rites, doubled with the general Eid Day celebration. Musbah Wahab is in the holy city and now reports.
It is double celebration for Muslims around the world, celebrating Eid al-Adha on a Jummah day. But for pilgrims in Saudi Arabia, it is more than that. They are consolidating on their Hajj rites. The streets leading to Muna are experiencing heavy pedestrian traffic as they thronged the Makkah suburb on the Eid day. They passed the night at Muzdalifah after leaving the plains of Arafah on Thursday. The pilgrims have been busy stoning the largest pillar at Jamrat.
Those areas that used to be very, very difficult, that is in terms of Jamra, that means throwing of the pebbles, they made it so easy to understand that people can go easily without any hitch at all.
So it's part of what he did, the Prophet ﷺ, when he's performing Hajj, he is one of the pillars, is one of the main part of Hajj, that is the stoning of the pebble.
They have also performed the slaughtering of sacrificial animals and shaving of hair.
Looking at the rigorous exercise that one has to undergo by becoming an Hajj, I think it is enough for anybody who is a reasonable thinking person to say that he has to learn a good lesson from what he has really experienced.
Now these pilgrims still have 3 more days of stoning, and that will require a bit more of physical strength. From Muna, Saudi Arabia, Musbah and Wahab, NTA News.
And back in Nigeria, Governor Kashim Shettima says he understands, feels and shares the pains of the Muslim community in Borno State who had to trek to Eid grounds as a result of vehicular restriction imposed as part of security measures to prevent any breach that could cause harm to the people. The governor, who is currently in Mecca leading the Borno programs for the 2017 Amiru Hajj, advised the Muslims to reflect on the tenets which Prophet Muhammad represents, which are peace, tolerance, sacrifice, and forgiveness. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the Governor on Communication and Strategy, Issa Gusau, Governor Shettima promised to place more priority on the safety and well-being of the internally displaced persons and revive the economy of the state. It is a common knowledge that domestic animals are slaughtered during the Eid Kabir, and it is the Quranic injunction. What will not be known to many people is what happens thereafter. In this report, Victor Azu examines the treatment given to the meat after it is slaughtered.
The pleadings and protests from this ram will not make these Muslim faithful have a change of heart, and for obvious reasons. The value of the ram increases upon its slaughter. Beyond the sacrifice of the animal as a major requirement for the festival, there is another injunction: the meat serves purposes of charity. The slaughtered animal is divided into 3 parts. 1/3 is given to relatives, friends and neighbors, another 1/3 is retained for the family, and the last 1/3 is given to the poor and needy.
It has instructed every Muslim at this junction to slaughter a ram. It is the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And we go by the teaching of the Prophet Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. With this, it has a very good reward from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala.
This celebration is the second and bigger of the 2 Muslim festivals celebrated worldwide each year. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
Speaker, House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara has congratulated Muslims in the country as he sues for unity and tolerance, especially in this season of Eid Kabir. In a statement by his special advisor on media and public affairs, Turaki Hassan, the speaker admonished Muslim faithful to use the Eid Kabir Salah festival to promote unity in the country. He enjoined them to also use the opportunity of the period to uphold the spiritual benefits of the celebration by extending a hand of fellowship and solidarity across all divides and imbibing the spirit of sacrifice and obedience to higher authorities upheld by Prophet Muhammad. While wishing the Muslim Ummah a blessed and peaceful Eid Kabir Salah celebration, the speaker implored them to continue to pray for the country and its leaders, especially President Muhammadu Buhari. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Still basking in the euphoria of the Salah, let's head up to Lagos where Ademola is standing by with update on the celebration. Hello Ademola, what is the mood like in Lagos today?
Thank you, Ronke. The mood in Lagos is cool, calm, and everyone is just enjoying the Salah celebration. And now to the Salah prayers. The need for Nigerians to forge a united front devoid of hatred and unforgiveness has been emphasized. This was the crux of the message delivered by a Muslim cleric at the Jordan Barracks Eid Prayer Ground, where Muslim faithful converged to observe the Eid al-Kabir 2 Rakat prayers in Lagos. Abolade Salami has the details.
Muslim faithful in their numbers converged on Jordan Barracks to observe the 2 Rakat prayer. Acting Chief Imam, Lagos Central Mosque, Sheikh Tijani Bajabiamila, in his message titled Allah Accepts Repentance, urged Muslim faithful to shun all forms of misdeeds and unforgiveness, implored them to embrace peace, tolerance, and pray for the continued peace of the country.
But every one of us, when we are reaching Eid like that, we have to remember that one day we are not going to be there. So that every one of us try to change his habit to good, so may Allah be with us.
We must be able to extend hands of fellowship, hands of love, so that we can take good care of those who are the less privileged.
Lagos State Deputy Governor Idiat Adebule and former Commissioner of Police in Lagos State, Fatai Osheni, admonished all faithful to see the celebration as a moment of rededicating themselves to Allah's instructions and also pray for the unity and peace of the country.
Not just observe the celebration alone, but also look at the essence of the celebration, which is total submission to God.
The spirituality in it should go with all of us, and we should pray for the peace of this country.
All Nigerians to imbibe the spirit of this festive season, and that is sacrifice.
The prayer also witnessed the slaughtering of ram in obedience to Allah's instruction. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
As Muslim faithful in Lagos joined their counterparts the world over to mark the Eid al-Kabir celebration, Muslim clerics have used the occasion to enjoin Nigerians to live in peace and harmony. They stressed this during prayers and celebration of the Eid al-Kabir.
Ground Old Lagos State Secretariat, Ikeja, Imam Dawood Oniide, member of the National Mission Board, NASFAT, urged Muslims and all Nigerians to emulate Prophet Ibrahim's humility and obedience to Allah. He enjoined Muslims to live in peace and harmony with their fellow Nigerians. He also prayed for the nation and the president.
Everything is part of sacrifice, giving other people what they need. We should believe that the more we do that, the more Almighty Allah will provide for us more.
Some celebrants also comment.
The essence of this celebration is perseverance, giving spirit.
We must at all times be ready to sacrifice and also be ready at all times to assist one another so that the society can be better off.
The high points of the event was the slaughtering of the ram, signifying obedience to Allah by Prophet Ibrahim. Some Muslims used the event to give out ram pieces, beef and food to community members, especially the needy.
What I have now, I'm giving that to my people. I want other people to do the same thing.
On the essence of killing rams and other animals like cattle, some members say that it's not compulsory to Muslims. They pointed out that the significance of the festival of sacrifice should be imbibed by all Muslims. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
We now move on to other stories. Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has donated the sum of 5 million naira to the widow and children of Osaze Oromogbe, a community leader killed and burned by kidnappers for leading security agents to foil their operation in Lagos. Nosal Sula has the details.
Who led the security committee of the Olorun Shogo Community Development Association, had alerted the police on hearing heavy bullet shots of kidnappers seeking to capture a victim. On arrival, the police and soldiers asked him to lead them to the area. All of them were ambushed by the kidnappers and killed. Presenting the check to the widow and children on behalf of the governor at a solemn ceremony at the family's residence in Ishawo, Ikorodu, the special advisor to the governor on community and communications, Kehinde Bambeton, praised the late Omoregbe for his heroic role. Reading the condolence message personally signed by the governor, the special advisor said the late Omoregbe paid the supreme sacrifice while responding to the government's charge to community development associations to support its efforts to rid the state of kidnappers.
At a time, our administration was consolidating partnerships with our communities and their courageous and committed leaders, your benefactor stood up to be counted.
Speaking on behalf of the LCDA, the chairperson Jumoke Ademehin Chumbo thanked the Lagos state government for coming to the rescue of the family. The deceased is survived by his wife and 2 children, Adesua and Usaze. In Lagos, Nusa Osula, NTA News.
Nigerian youths have expressed confidence in the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari as one ordained by God to bring about the unity and development of the country. This was at a concert in Lagos to appreciate God for the safe return of the president to the country after his medical vacation. Victoria Olabode has the details.
That piece set the tune for the evening, a musical fiesta put together in praises to God for the 100-day stay of the Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari, in the United Kingdom and his recuperation. With their voices raised to heavens and the musical instruments doing the accomplishment, the evening provided those in attendance an illuminating worship experience.
Music, it brings people together. It doesn't matter what tribe or tongue you belong to.
Main reason of doing this is bringing people together to praise and worship God.
They also used the occasion to appeal to the aggrieved youths to embrace peace and work together for the progress of the nation.
As a whole, we're praying and worshiping God on behalf of Nigeria every day and trusting and believing that deliverance will take place.
From the north to the south, to the west to the east, there shall be peace. No more war. In the name of Jesus.
All I have to do is just give the glory to God.
The concert attracted youth from various geopolitical zones. In Lagos, Victoria Olabode, NTA News.
And that does it from Lagos. It's back to you, Ronke, for more on Nationwide. Baraka de Salah.
Baraka de Salah to you too, Demola. Thank you. The message at the national headquarters of Jibways was that of caution to parents to live to their parental responsibilities in the training of their children. The Chief Imam Malam Seidu Abubakar preached the message, as reported by Ben Mitu.
The Islamic cleric lamented the manner in which some parents neglect their responsibilities of proper upbringing of their words and children and rather focus on the pursuit of the mundane. This act, Imam Abdullahi said, is what has turned society to what it is today, saying on the last day parents will give account of how they handled their children while here on earth.
What I am saying is that parents have a huge responsibility placed on them by God to train their children in the fear of God, and if they fail, God will surely ask them.
While calling for a peaceful celebration, the Imam also decried the way some Muslims, especially the youth, celebrate the Eid, which portrays Islam as a violent religion. In Jos, Ben Mitu, NTA News.
We now go to Port Harcourt, where Muslim Ummah have joined their counterparts the world over to offer 2 rakat obligatory prayer in commemoration of Eid Kabir. Fatima bint Osage, who joined the Ummah in prayer, reports that Eid grounds in Port Harcourt were awash with Muslim faithful who took time to also pray for continued peace and mutual coexistence with other residents of the state.
Otherwise called Eid Kabir, is a festival of faith and faithfulness in commemoration of Prophet Ibrahim's willingness to sacrifice his son Ismail as an act of obedience to God. The feast, which predated Prophet Muhammad, mandated Muslims to bathe before Fajr prayer, put on new clothes with perfume and observe fasting before going for the Eid prayer. The event begins with khutbah, then the 2 rakat prayer before the sacrifice of ram.
We are remembering that that singular sacrifice of Prophet Ibrahim and his son, because if Allah has allowed him to slaughter that his son in sacrifice, perhaps we would have been required today to be sacrificing our sons.
We have been advocating for peace, and in anything we do, we always make sure that we put it and start it within ourselves.
Eid al-Adha ends on the 13th of Zulhijjah, which is the 10th month in the Islamic calendar. In Port Harcourt, Fatima bint Osai, NTA News.
We now join Nana in Sokoto for more on Eid prayers in that zone. Hello, Nana. Baraka de Salah.
Baraka de Salah. Thousands of Muslims attended Eid prayers at the Sokoto Central Eid Praying Ground. Dahat Abdullahi has the report.
As early as 7 o'clock in the morning, Muslims from all walks of life started to rope into the Central Eid Praying Ground to attend the 2 Rakat annual congregational prayer. Personalities include Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol, Sultan Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar III, former President Sheikh Usman Aliyu Shagari, former governors, members of the State Executive Council, National and State Assembly, Islamic scholars, the business community, and thousands of worshippers. Imam Malami Akwara led the 2 Rakat Eid prayers.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Sami Allahu liman hamida.
In his sermon, the Imam advised Muslims to maintain unity, sense of brotherhood, love for one another, and help the needy. The Imam urged Muslims to fear Allah in whatever they do to achieve success. The Imam later slaughtered his sacrificial ram at the Eid ground, marking the commencement of the sacrifices. In Sokoto, Dalhat Abdullahi, NTA News.
And from Kebbi State comes a report that hundreds of people offered the 2 Rakat Eid prayer at the Central Eid Prayer Ground in Birnin Kebbi. Sheikh Muhammad Datti has the report.
Led by the Chief Imam of Wala Jumaat Mosque, Mala Ahmed Rufai Ibrahim Bashar Wala, the prayer was attended by Governor Abakar Atiku Bagudu, the Emir of Gondu, Alhaji Muhammad Ilyas Bashar, and members of the State Executive Council. In his sermon, Imam Ahmed Rufai told Muslims to imbibe the culture of sacrifice, which is a cardinal objective of Eid al-Kabir. He said the sacrifice is beyond slaughtering animals, but also signifies mutual sharing among people. Addressing the people, the Emir of Gondu and Chairman Kebbi State Council of Chiefs, Alhaji Muhammad Ilyas Bashar, advised people to closely monitor their words to protect them from being misguided into religious extremism and insurgency. The Emir also said, with the support by government, people should embrace agriculture to improve their living conditions. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
Reports from Tambol local government in Sokoto South Senatorial District shows thousands of Muslims in festive mood converged on various Eid praying grounds to observe the 2 Rakat Eid prayer. Osman Zubairu has the report.
The 2 Rakat prayer at the Tambol Central Eid praying ground commenced at 9:30 in the morning and was led by Chief Imam Malam Isa Usman Waziri Tambol. In his sermon, the Chief Imam advised Muslims to reflect on the lessons of the sacrifice being observed as exemplified by the Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him. Chief Imam Isa Waziri underscored the importance of the sacrifice and enjoined Muslims to strictly adhere to the laid-down principle in the observance of the holy act to earn Allah's mercies. He attributed the current predicaments being experienced in the society to the flagrant disobedience to the commands of Allah and charged Muslims to use the festive period for sincere repentance. District Head of Tambol, Alhaji Menasrat Aheru Tambol, and renowned scholar in the area, Sheikh Haruna Usman Waziri Tambol, call on Muslims to always live a good life and assist the needy. They also enjoin Nigerians to continue to pray for peace and tranquility. Special prayers were later offered for good health of President Muhammadu Buhari and the government of Sokoto State. In Sokoto, Usman Zubairu, NTA News.
Well, that does it for the news here in Sokoto. I'm wishing everybody a happy Eid celebration, and it's back to Ronke. Barakat Salah, Ronke.
Barakat Salah to you, Nana. Thank you. As Muslim faithful in the Federal Capital Territory celebrate the Eid Kabir, Olajide Bello visited some areas to ascertain the level of security presence during the festive period.
With the Eid al-Kabir celebrations in the air, Muslim faithful within the Federal Capital Territory are also in the spirit of the celebration. Despite free flow of traffic due to light vehicular movement, security operatives were stationed at strategic locations to ensure safety. On the part of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, a total of 40,000 officers and men were deployed nationwide, with 5,000 within the FCT.
Now, apart from the sniffer dogs, we also have the deployment of some special units like the Special Weapon and Tactical Unit, the SWAT. We have the deployment of surveillance team. Our ambulances are stationed in most of the areas to ensure quick and response rescue operation in case of any emergency situation.
Corps Public Education Officer, Federal Road Safety Corps, Bisi Kazim, speaks on measures put in place to ensure a hitch-free celebration.
We have deployed about 33,000 personnel, both regular and special marshals, with about 859 patrol vehicles, 267 motorbikes, 106 ambulances, and 22 tow trucks, all in a bid to ensure free flow of traffic.
National President, Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, Musa Isiwele, while speaking on security measures, also advised drivers to get speed limit device and drive safely, and enjoined Nigerians to pray and support the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, regardless of religion, ethnic or political party affiliation. Officers and men of the Nigeria Police Force were also seen at different locations. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
And now, Nigerians, irrespective of religious and ethnic background, have been enjoined to at all times promote peace, unity and development of the country as entrenched in the tenets of Islamic faith. This was the message as thousands of worshippers, including the governor of Ogun State, Ibikunle Amosun, converged on the Lantoro Eid ground at Abeokuta to observe the 2 Rakat prayers in celebration of this year's Eid Kabir festival. Leko Agbonde reports.
Was filled to capacity as faithful turned out to observe the 2 Rakat prayer led by the Chief Imam Alhaji Liadi Onusholu. Alhaji Onusholu told the congregation on the need to toe the path of the prophets, especially as regards the incidents in the scriptures that led to the celebration of Eid al-Kabir. He urged the faithful to live their lives in the fear of Allah, strictly follow Allah's instructions as regards the 5 pillars of the faith, and be good examples in the society. The governor of Ogun State, Ibikunle Amosun, in a Salah message to Nigerians, emphasized the need for Nigerians to continuously promote peace and unity of the country, saying that is the only path to greatness for the country.
I admonish all of us in this state and in Nigeria that once we love one another, once we are united, once we are peaceful, I know that Nigeria will be great.
At the Nawaruddin Society of Nigeria, Igbora branch, Eid ground, Imam Muhammad Imran Ariyo told the congregation to celebrate moderately and remember the poor and the needy to make them happy. Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. Let's now pause for some messages. Nationwide continues shortly.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
The National Council for Arts and Culture, Nigeria, cordially invites you to the African Arts and Crafts Expo, Abuja. Theme: Nigerian Crafts, the Untapped Treasure. Opening ceremony, Tuesday, 5th September 2017. Venue, Arts and Crafts Village, beside Sheraton Hotel and Yardworth Center, Abuja. Time, 12 noon prompt. Chairman, Dr. Mrs. Habiba Lawan, Acting Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Special guest of honor, Deputy Governor of Edo State, Right Honorable Philip Shaibu. Guests of honor, all ambassadors and high commissioners to Nigeria. Royal Fathers of the Day, His Royal Majesty Alhaji Mr. Adamu Baba Yunusa, and His Royal Majesty Alhaji Ismaila Muhammad. Mother of the Day, Her Excellency Dame Pauline Talim. Chief Host, Alhaji Lai Muhammad, Honorable Minister, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. African Arts and Crafts Expo, Abuja. This is the biggest cultural expo in Africa. For details, please call the following numbers. Host and announcer, Otumba Olusegun Rushewe, Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture.
What manner of man wakes up in the morning, eats breakfast, gets dressed, and goes out with the sole purpose of duping his clients?
Where the dollar now? Make I check them now.
Now why?
Supposing if it is fake.
They are everywhere. The bad apples who spoil the rest. They can shortchange you. They also swap your good currency and give you counterfeits.
These people are criminal.
They are the bad money changers, mostly on the roadsides.
And they don't even get office address.
Honesty means nothing to them.
You know, that happened like this. Where's my money?
Watch Prophet John Bull this week and see how this rot manifests, even as you laugh like never before.
Eh? Udo, come and separate us now. You're not a serious-minded fighter. By now, the don't tear person eye.
Over and out. Brought to you by Glow.
The largest data network, Glow Unlimited. The Honorable Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, and the Minister of State, Honorable Abubakar Bawa-Buhari, cordially invite state commissioners, permanent secretaries in charge of mining and mineral resources, distinguished Senate and House committee members on mines and steel, and all relevant stakeholders in the mining and mineral resources sector to the maiden edition of the National Council on Mining and Mineral Resources Development, theme, Enhancing Mineral Resource Governance Towards Economic Growth and Diversification. Date, 12th to 14th September 2017. Time, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. Venue, NAF Center, Kado, Abuja. Mohammed Abbas, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
Another edition of TV Guide magazine is out with revealing accounts of trending stories. With the dwindling oil revenue, he says there is no reason to worry.
We strongly believe that culture is Nigerians' new oil. And we're going to show that by creating wealth, our art and culture will be a statement for all of us.
Our cover story is on Otumba Olusegun Runchewe, Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture. For upcoming TV presenters, elegant Elizabeth Banu tells you what it takes. A peep into the activities of the Presidential Committee on the Northeast Initiative, a mandate being fulfilled. A trip to the Yankari Games Reserve and Safari in Bauchi State brings you closer to nature. And the Oshun Oshobo Festival, our culture, our pride. Professor Adiku, the Vice Chancellor, University of Abuja, tells us what it means to manage a university, plus our regular features, star profile, media issues, relationships, young minds, entertainment, sports, and lots more. Pick your copy now at the vendors or at every NTA station nationwide. TV Guide, still your indispensable companion. Reorganized, trained, and fully equipped, we are the new improved Nigeria Police Force. We fight crime. We bust syndicates. Whatever the crime, wherever the hideout, the Nigeria Police Force will get you busted. Stop kidnapping, armed robbery, murder, pipeline vandalism, and other criminal activities. Be productive. Be security conscious. Join the police force to secure your life and property. This message is from the Nigeria Police Force Public Relations Department.
For over 25 years, I have been privileged to anchor various programs on television. But the news program that I find most exciting and challenging is The Weekend File. This is largely because of its philosophy of engaging all classes of people, the artisans, politicians, technocrats, captains of industry, and professional analysts on issues that touch all aspects of life and living. In the conversations that follow, you find complexities, different views, ideologies, thought patterns, and individual beliefs. It's quite engaging. We do this Saturdays on NTA Network Service at 9 p.m. It's Weekend File, but you call it Weekend Companion, and it's all about nation building. Join me, Kirian Umayo, and production crew every Saturday for this weekend treat, and I can tell you that it is unmissable. Make it a day.
Glad to know you're still watching Nationwide on NTA Network Service. Muslim faithful in Ibadan also participate in the Eid prayer. Let's join Kebbi in Ibadan for details of this and other reports making the round in that zone. Salah, Kebbi.
Salah, and welcome to Ibadan.
Muslim faithful have been advised to stay away from activities that can threaten the unity and peaceful coexistence of the country. This was the thrust of sermons at Eid Praying Ground in Oyo and Ogun State. Correspondent Ibadan Eid reports.
Muslim faithful in Oyo and Ogun States were at the Eid ground as early as 8 in the morning for the prayer. Governor Abiola Jimobi and his Ogun State counterparts, Ibikunle Amosun, were among the Muslim faithful at the Eid ground.
That will continue to accept the need for development in the state. And in the spirit of today, that God will bless us all.
Once we love one another, once we are united, once we are peaceful, I know that Nigeria will be great.
The chief imams at Agodi and Shesha community in Ibadan, Abeokuta and Ijebu-Ode, who observed the slaughtering of the symbolic ram, urged Nigerians to imbibe the major lessons of Eid al-Kabir.
We should live in peace. We have to connect with ourselves. Peace is the real meaning of Islam.
The congregation later led the Eid ground to continue with the Salah celebration in Ibadan. Adebola Ogunlano, NTA News.
The National Assembly continues to receive the nod by the public for abrogating state and local government joint accounts in its constitution amendment process. Stakeholders, however, urged the lower chamber to reconsider its decision for rejecting the removal of the State Independent Electoral Commission from the constitution. Correspondent Abdurrahman Kamaldeen reports.
Although stakeholders commended the two chambers for abrogating the state local government joint accounts to grant financial autonomy to the local government, they, however, decried the rejection by the House of Representatives to abolish the State Independent Electoral Commission, which was passed by the Senate. They said if the state government is restrained from conducting local government election, cases of abuses and electoral malpractice which characterized such election in the past will be dealt with.
There is another leg to it which was passed by the two houses, and that is the fact that states where elections into local governments are not conducted will no longer have a share of the federation accounts.
Under the Nigerian constitution, states are not supposed to spend money meant for local government. In fact, states are supposed to transfer 10% of the internally generated revenue to local governments.
A legal practitioner, Michael Agbelade, urged the judiciary to dispose of pending cases on local government election to strengthen democracy at the grassroots. Nigerians call on the state assemblies, whose 2/3 are required to validate the ongoing constitutional amendment, to be objective in their legislative duties in the interest of the masses. In Ibadan, Abdurrahman Kamaldeen, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. It's back to you, Ronke. Happy celebration.
Thank you so much, Kebbi. Tackling humanitarian crisis in the northeast, accentuated by insurgency, and providing social safety net for Nigerians are core priorities of the Buhari administration. This was part of the direction of the conversation between the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jeffrey Onyama, and the Holy See Ambassador to Nigeria in Abuja. Gabriel Odu reports.
Minister informed the Papal Nuncio that corruption remains a major economic challenge and government is committed to addressing it.
We're engaging with international partners to try to address those challenges, and part of that is, of course, recovering of the large sums of money that have been siphoned from the country.
The Vatican ambassador promised to foster stronger relations between Nigeria and the Vatican, and also congratulated Nigerian Muslims as they've marked Eid al-Kabir.
We wish also to the Nigerian people, and especially to the Muslim of Nigeria, to have a happy and holy feast.
The Holy See, also known as the See of Rome, is the ecclesiastical jurisdiction of the Catholic Church, the episcopal see of the Pope, and an independent sovereign entity. In Abuja, Gabriel Udu, NTA News.
In other news, the attempt to build peaceful coexistence among Nigerians will continue to remain a mirage as long as sacrificial leadership, lack of adherence to the rule of law, and inability of the state to administer justice and fairness without fear or favor is absent. This is the submission of guests on Good Morning Nigeria this Friday as they examine the avenues to forge peaceful coexistence among Nigerians. Lydia Sampson. Here's that report.
Discussing peaceful coexistence in the spirit of the Muslim celebration of Eid al-Kabir, the guests submitted that Nigerians are religious and have the capacity to live in peace, but are often divided by religion, ethnicity, bad leadership, and elite conspiracy that feeds on corruption and misgovernance.
They used to listen to the preaching. Some used to come early, but you'll be surprised when they are administering in their offices as if they are not Muslims, as if they are not Christian. You understand? It's a very surprising something. Some even have imams as a friends, and some used to tell them, you know, one-on-one, that see, with this thing that you are doing, you should know that God is there seeing you. And again, you are going to account for it in the day of judgment.
It is not on account of our different religions, because we know of many countries with diverse religions and atheists and believers who live peacefully together. It is not on account of our tribes, because we know of countries more diverse than ourselves in tribes and ethnic groups that live peacefully together. But it has been a long-standing teaching of the Catholic Church that if you want peace, work for justice.
They submitted that Nigerians can and should live in peace with one another, provided that the state treats everyone equally and guarantees freedom, justice, and equity in distribution of resources. The citizens, they say, must also engage the state and be responsible.
Preaching does not equate peace, because the preaching now is diluted with the personal idiosyncrasies and agendas of those who are preaching. If somebody, you know, went somewhere and something did not go right, he will come and preach about that one.
Anytime there is election, the political elite would know where to visit. They visit the churches, they visit the mosques, and they are well received. And then when they pump in money to the churches and the mosque without asking questions, the churches and the mosque also receive.
While urging Nigerians to live according to the faith they profess, they advise government and elites to uphold human dignity at all times. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And more on Eid Kabir celebration with a charge of Muslims to intensify prayers for the nation and Sitsiri. Suleiman in Kaduna Network Center takes it from here. Barakatu Salah to you, Suleiman, and ensure that our portion of the ram gets to us after now. We're sorry, there is loss of audio signal from Kaduna Network Center. And moving on now, public servants in Nigeria have been urged to put more effort in building a greater Nigeria through selfless service. Permanent Secretary, Minister of Information and Culture, Mrs. Grace Kebbi, gave the advice during his for retired directors at the ministry.
We also charge the young officers, because these people have left a great legacy behind, and their name, I will say, is written in gold. It might not be physical, but I know it's written in gold in heaven, and I charge my young staff to emulate their steps so that they can do better than what they've done so far.
The retired director also had some tips for serving workers.
Take your time, learn a lot, learn and grow, and eventually the best will be for you.
Because I'm so happy seeing the joy on people's faces. I thought retirement is something to be afraid of, but with the kind of sent forth I got today, I feel encouraged.
The retired directors were honored by the ministry for their meritorious service to the nation. The approval for the construction of the Mambila hydropower plant by the Federal Executive Council is a demonstration of President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration to provide the needed infrastructure for the diversification of the nation's economy. This was the view of stakeholders in Taraba State while reacting to the development. Joseph Othen reports.
The thought for the construction of the Mambila hydropower plant in Gembo Sadana local government of Taraba State came to the fore in 1972. In 1982, the Shagari government initiated the construction of the project, described to be the biggest in the country, with a capacity of generating over 3,000 megawatts. Since then, successive administrations have re-echoed the need for the construction of the power plant to support the energy sector, but the project saw little light. With the coming of the present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015, the president has shown great determination to execute the hydropower plant, which the Federal Executive Council finally approved in its last meeting. The decision has sent waves of joy and optimism around Taraba State, with stakeholders applauding the federal government, saying apart from boosting the energy sector, the facility will pave way for enhancing other economic sectors of the state.
The president is a man of his word as far as this project is concerned. We know for a while this project has been in the pipeline. For him to have got to the point that the main project is being approved by the Federal Executive Council, for me is that first and foremost of gratitude to him, Mr. President, and of course his cabinet.
And it will further expose Mambila itself with a temperate climate as a tourist destination in Nigeria, because projects like these multi-billion naira projects comes with hotels, with other facilities, in a good climate for resting when you go there to relax.
It does not only touch the life of Tarabians, but it touches the life of Northeast and the entire country.
We need to give maximum cooperation to see that the company that the project was given to them or is given to them is bound to succeed.
The $5.8 billion electricity project is to be completed within 6 years. In Jalingo, Joseph Sound Oten, NTA News.
The extraordinary session of ECOWAS Parliament has ended in Lome, Togo, with the adoption of the Parliament budget for the 2018 fiscal year. Joseph Orok reports that the budget is 4.77% less than that of 2017.
The budget is 99% to be funded from the community levy. Speaker Mustafa Sisilo urged members of the parliament to intensively engage with countries of the community to ensure that the funds are collected and transferred on time to ECOWAS. He expressed the hope that the estimates will fast-track the implementation and monitoring of activities of the community in line with the Supplementary Act.
He expects that henceforth, the Parliament will be able to play its role of supervision and so on of the community actions.
Meanwhile, the ECOWAS Female Parliamentarians, ECOFEPA, has resolved to organize a fundraising event in Abuja soon in an effort to mobilize funds to assist women and girls in politics within the sub-region. This was the position of the group at a meeting in Lome.
Are looking at assisting women in the various disasters that are befalling them. 5
women and 3 men are to be awarded at the events for their exemplary role in empowering women within the sub-region. In Lome, Togo, Joseph Orok, NTA News.
And talking sports now, Nigeria Super Eagles had their last training session Thursday evening ahead of the showdown against Indomitable Lions of Cameroon Friday. John Paul